had to reshoot the scene because when he told me, I like launched on him and was like, I'm so sorry. And I had a little skirt on, so my whole ass came out.
Welcome back to The Things. My name is Lauren Ashley Beck. It's getting pretty hot in here, but I can guarantee you it's not me. It must be our next guest, Larissa from Too Hot to Handle. Larissa, how you doing, girl?
Hi, I'm so good. It's so good to be here and meet you. And I'm so excited.
Yes, we're so grateful to have you here. Let's jump right into it because The Things fans want to know all. So when you saw yourself on TV for the first time, what was that like?
It was definitely crazy. Like, it's crazy living a situation and then watching it back and seeing how it plays out, like, from a different perspective. But it was fun. I loved it. Like, I had a big viewing party and, like, every time I came on screen, all my friends would scream, so.
When people lost money for you guys, what was the general consensus in the villa? Were you mad, or was it just like, that's the name of the game?
It kind of depended. Like, when we knew they were forming a genuine connection, we were a lot more, like, understanding of it. But when they were just, like, throwing kisses away for fun or, like, kind of thing, we would get annoyed. Yeah, it was, like, a little bit of a mixture. But from early on, because I hadn't broken any rules, I got on, like, my high horse. So I was like, I haven't broken any rules. I'm going to continue this. So I was always the strict one on the money.
You were very well behaved in that villa.
I know, I really was. But from the start, there was no one that I wanted to, like, rip their clothes off, which made it easier for me.
So Nathan tries to shoot his shot with you right off the bat. We see him giving you a Magic Mike lap dance. He kicks his feet up. What's going through your head as all of that is unfolding?
I found it hilarious because, like, I still wasn't sure how I felt about Nathan because, like, there's a lot you guys, like, don't see behind the scenes. Like, our personalities kind of clashed a bit. So it was still, like, trying to get to know him. So it was, like, to just go straight into the lap dance was hilarious. And you could tell, like, on my face. But it definitely broke the ice. Like, afterwards, I was like, oh, yeah, all right, I'll share a bed with you. There was some moves.
What are some of the things that you and Nathan would get into about? Like, what little tips would you guys have behind the scenes?
He would constantly, like, shush me because I'm quite loud. And our beds were, like, so Cam and Emily were here. I love him, like, we're really close now, but it was a massive issue for me. So Cam and Emily were next to us, and me and Emily would constantly just, like, because we were besties, we would just, like, talk to each other, and we were both incredibly loud people, so it was constant, like, shh, shh, like, which, like, really got to me.
Do you think with Nathan, the connection, it grew on you as time wore on?
Yeah, definitely, and it was nice. I think, like, going through the experience together and doing, like, challenges together, and, like, it is a crazy experience. I think that brought us together.
Yeah, it was so cool to see you guys have that moment where you really connected on your date. You got the green light. And what did it feel like to break down those walls and just really connect with Nathan on that level?
Yeah, it was good. I've been getting a lot of hate because people say that when he opened up to me about his wife, I didn't hug him, but, like, I literally hugged him straight away, and we had to reshoot the scene because when he told me, I, like, launched on him and was like, I'm so sorry, and I had a little skirt on, so my whole ass came out. So I just want to clear up that I did actually hug him, and I was like, thank you so much for opening up to me. Like, it was such a sweet moment, and, like, I felt so special that he felt, like, comfortable enough to open up to me about that. And it's like he forgot, because obviously there's, like, camera crew and everything around, and the whole, like, you know, Netflix watching. It made me feel really sweet that he had, like, opened up to me about that. So, like, we did have a really nice moment. It's just not captured fully. But especially the kiss, like, I'm such a physical person, so once I had that kiss, it definitely helped me develop feelings for him. So yeah, that date was, like, a turning point.
See, it's so cool, and you heard it here first on The Things. Larissa is sweet. She wasn't not giving him any attention after that moment, and that's the thing that I think is so important because people don't realize in reality TV shows, they have to edit, they have to make sure things look right, and that doesn't mean that you're cold-hearted. It just didn't make air. Can you walk us through a day in the life of a Too Hot to Handle contestant? What does that look like?
We get up, and we normally have, like, a little bit of chat when we wake up, and then we go to have breakfast. And let me tell you, the food was unreal. Like, I'm such a foodie, and we had, like, a private chef, so we had, like, massive breakfast, lunches and dinners, which was amazing. So the food time was actually my favourite because we all got to just go hang out. We were, like, we always were mic'd and had cams on us, but we knew they wouldn't use any footage of us eating. So we were able to just, like, kind of relax, and we were always super goofy. Like, me, Emily and Christina would always be standing on the tables dancing. Like, it was such a fun time. But so we'd have breakfast, and that would be, like, a little small, and then we'd have to, like, rush to get ready. We always were, like, given the most ridiculous amount of time, and then so we'd be rushed, yelled at, and then we'd end up just sitting there while like other chats were going on. So it was like us girls would always get like sassy about how long we had to get ready. Melinda always had our backs, like making sure we had longer, so that was good.
Do you feel like the cameras were an obstacle in making romantic connections, like deep, real romantic connections?
Honestly, you forget. This is like so unbelievable initially, but you forget they're there. At first, obviously, it's a bit weird. Like, I know I did feel a bit awkward on my date with Nathan with the cameras right there as well, especially because it was already kind of an awkward situation. But you just totally forget they're there, and I think you can form a genuine connection.
Let's talk about when Nathan came to talk to you and just let you know that the connection, he felt like it wasn't there, it was slightly fading. Had you already thought about leaving the villa before he came to you, or was this something that you were like, okay, I know Nathan's the only person that I'm building a potential relationship with. If this doesn't work, then there's no point in me being here?
So that chat that me and Nathan had was like actually a while after that date. And earlier to that, I'd actually said like, oh, I want to end it with Nathan, because when we went in the private suite, there were some comments that he made that really like upset me. Because I like am very confident, but I'm also super sensitive. So like comments about like the way I look or anything like that from a man that I'm like lying in bed with, I'm just like, no. So I'd already talked to Christina and Emily and had like a girls chat about how I was just not feeling it. And then he ended up going on that date. And then we chat, like our chat was the next day. But the funny thing is that chat is like such a weird reflection of the conversation we actually had. And you can even hear me, the way they edited it, you hear me say, I just hope, thanks for chatting.
So I just like hope, thanks for chatting.
And because they completely like cut something that I said out. So that was the weirdest part for me, was watching my exit, because like how that conversation of me and his had got a cut. So yeah, the conversation went like completely different.
So the way that you pictured it in your mind and the way that you thought you were going to see it, it was sort of pieced and cut together in a different way. And it was kind of like, it didn't even make sense to you and you lived it.
Yeah, so what had happened is like, he was trying to like be like, oh, can we still have something? And I was being like, no, you've disrespected me, I'm not interested. And then I said like, I hope you end this like war on women, because he'd always said to me, since his wife cheating on him, he'd struggled opening up to women, and like I was trying to say, I hope you'd learn to treat women better, like, because I know you can. So like the way the conversation got cut was like crazy. It was like
That's
he
so
had dumped
bizarre.
me and
Yeah.
island.
But it was really that you had already decided that you were done with the relationship and took your power and wanted to leave.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was like, this is so disrespectful. No one treats me like this, and you should never treat another woman like this. And I'd even said, like, I think you should crack on with Elle, but I think you need to do not treat her the way you treated me. And I left the next day, like 24 hours later.
So what did you do in that 24 hours? Were you still in the villa?
Yeah, I was. I woke up. So what had happened is we went to bed that night, and I woke up in a bed next to Nathan and Elle. And I looked around and I was like, oh, it's just all couples. And like everything that day was just like couple activities. And I was just like, there's just no reason for me to be here anymore. Like it was very couple focused, and like all the workshops to come and everything were that. So I was like, there's just no point in me being here. Like, and I'd learned what I had learned, and I'd had so much fun. And I wanted to leave on like a positive note. And it was becoming like, when I went into my interviews, it was becoming very like, oh, are you mad at Elle? And I was like, I don't want it to be this like Larissa versus Elle thing. Like, I'm not that kind of girl to fight with a girl over a guy. So yeah, it just made sense for me to leave.
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting that they made that choice, because you're such a girl boss, you're a lawyer, you're in your own lane. So I feel like for your story, it would have made more sense for it to be played in the way of like the way that it actually happened, which was you decided to leave. I would have liked that story better.
Yeah, I would have liked that story better too.
Did you see yourself going back to the villa?
Oh, I think I would. Now that I'm single again, I would love to go back to the villa. Especially like watching back the show, I'm like, damn, I wish I just had more fun with it. Like I was like I became the villa mum, so I was so like caring about everyone else, giving them advice, helping them, not breaking rules myself so that there was some money left. I was like, you can break rules, I'll make sure there's still some money. So now I'm like, if I went back there, whew,